What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the No Cap Space. Tyler and Greer here with a very special guest from one of the best teams in the nation. We got one of the best guards in the nation from Texas, Rori Harmon. Rori, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. We are stoked, honestly, to have you here for an episode of Luxury Tax, and especially because you just got some good news, Rori.
Yeah.
You are cleared, and I am
Okay.
so excited for you. Can you just kind of take us through the moment of like you are like being told you are officially cleared, you're good to go, and how that was?
Yeah, so it feels like I've been cleared for a minute, but there's some protocols you have to go with medically from my surgeon, and Coach Safer has been pulling me out a bit of stuff. And even though I look good and I feel good, he's just being very cautious, following doctor's orders. But I saw my surgeon last Thursday, which is actually in weeks. That is exactly 10 months.
Oh wow.
So it was October 17th. Yes, October 17th, and I knew it was the time was coming. Like he has to clear me that day. Like Coach Schaefer came with me. Obviously, my athletic trainer came with me, Cheyenne, and so he was like, "I have no other reason to keep you out. He checked my knee, obviously, felt it, whatnot, and he said it looks perfect. And obviously, shout out to him. He's definitely all the work goes to him, obviously. But yeah, just hearing those words that I was cleared or medically cleared, it's amazing. I mean, this is what I've been waiting for. It's literally this moment, that moment I was waiting for, and so now I'm just ready to play.
There you go.
You said it's all on them, but like it is a lot of you because ACLs are not easy things to come back from in 10 months, right? It's can you talk about your rehab process and how you attacked it to make sure that you could get back before the season started?
Yeah, so not to brag on myself, but my surgeon said that like I was one of the best ACL patients he has had, and who has worked the hardest throughout their recovery. And I just take pride in that. Like when you get something like basketball, like your whole life getting stripped away from you in like 1 second, you have your moment where you're just really upset and your feelings very selfish, and which makes sense. And then it's like, all right, it's time to work. It's time to get back. It's time to lock in. And I think the first 2 months of my recovery, it's almost the most important because that's your foundation that you lay. And so I got 110% effort from everyone, and for that, I'm going to give that back to them. And so, I took a lot of pride in what I was doing. I want to be able to be myself again, or even better. I do feel a lot better. So it was a long process, but now it's just time to get mentally back into the game.
Right, and I want to follow up on that mental aspect too, because I don't feel like we talk about that enough. On when it comes to coming back from injury and everything. So for you, obviously, I think rehabbing physically, there's a process to it, and there's kind of a general roadmap, but mentally can be a bit different. So in the same way that you're like, okay, I'm going to attack this physically, how do you, is there any kind of mindset, I guess, going into attacking it on the mental side as well, coming back from that?
Yeah. So through the process, there's around like 5 to 6 months, maybe 7. You're actually physically okay. Like you would probably be able to come back to the game, and that's just the whole physical part. That's the whole beginning of the ACL recovery process. Then once you get like you start feeling good, you're walking, you're working out with everyone, you're shooting, like you did your agility and whatnot. Now it's like, okay, now I have to actually get bumped. Now I have to start playing against other people, and that's more mental because we worked on everything. They're not my trainer Zach and like Ellen's, whoever it was, like we worked on everything. That I won't look back and regret or feel bad that I didn't work on something because we did. Now it's just like all up to me and deciding, am I going to let myself go and play? So it really does shift into the mental aspect, and it like I said, it's just about trusting the process that you went through and understanding like everything happens for a reason. And I've been going by this saying since I tore my ACL. I don't even think I've changed my phone case cover, but it says "Let go and let God." And so I've just been living by that moment and those words. And so it's truly been helping a lot. And I think, like I said, the staff that helped me, like I have no regret in my mind. I have no fear in my mind. So I'm ready mentally.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. There's got to be some point of just like, nah, you just got to be ready to get out there and hoop for real now. Like it's exciting. I did one thing. We talked to Olivia Miles a couple weeks ago, and obviously coming off an injury of her own as well. And something that I thought was super interesting, especially from a point guard perspective, is like being on the sidelines and seeing the game from a different angle. Was there anything that you learned, kind of obviously having to sit out through a large chunk of last season, that you are excited to implement, or maybe something that you saw that whether it was Coach Harmon in the moment talking about it, or something as player Harmon that you're ready to implement into your game or into Texas as a whole?
No, I realized that my coach is right most of the time.
Dang, that's a shame, huh?
That's crazy. It's all, I get to that moment. Obviously, I've grown up a lot, but you're just in those games on the sideline, and when you're playing, it's a different point of view. It's a different perspective. And when I'm sitting on the bench, and mind you, when I was injured, I sit right where I normally sit, like right next to the fire, right next to Coach Schaefer, pacing up and down, throwing his coat off. I was sitting right there, so I could hear what he's saying, and I'm just like, wow, like I'm thinking he's going crazy, but it's really true. But you're just in the heat of that moment. I think just taking a step back sometimes is what people need to do. And I think that was just one of the things I truly did learn. I learned patience, and I got a little grasp or just a better understanding. Like I feel like I got closer to him in that moment, just to see exactly what he really is looking at.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of the things that I think that I'm going to bring obviously into this next season. Just my knowledge and that I learned, and just my presence again with that knowledge. So
right. I think that's so funny you mentioned the jacket, because I was going to ask about that regardless. Did you ever have to bob and weave a jacket or anything? Like were you dodging out the way?
I didn't, but I remember one setting, it was a home game. He was taking it off and he didn't throw it. He asked somebody to come get it, but I hadn't really I've never been sitting on the bench while he was taking his jacket off. It's usually I'm in the game, and it's probably me.
So this team, like lots of changes. Chief among them, you guys are moving to a different conference, right? Yes. This is a conference that Vic is incredibly familiar with in SEC. I am curious, it's very, very early in the season, but what's like one thing that you guys are doing really well right now as a team that he will not be throwing his jacket about?
I'm not gonna lie, we are only 16 practices in, and we do. He said it yesterday. We do look like it, honestly. Like we've been a little banged up this past summer, and including me just finding my way back and whatnot. But I think right now he doesn't have to. Like I think he's seeing that some of his returners and stuff are really taking the initiative to really like start being accountable, holding each other accountable, and holding ourselves accountable. And he may not want to say it all the time because he just wants us to continue doing it. But for me, I truly do see that coming about. And now that I'm back in that fire with everyone, I can definitely tell, like this past season while I wasn't playing, like a lot of my teammates did. They grew up a little bit and learned to be accountable and responsible. Because like I said, like as good as they did last year, they had to really like dig deep and battle as hard as they could without playing with the point guard. Like the one that they're like. It's just a lot of things that we do need to work on, though. But I think down the line we'll definitely get with it. And I love playing with my teammates. This is the day I've been waiting for, the times I've been waiting for since injuring myself. But down this line, we'll definitely harp on toughness, making sure the standard is the standard, and just holding each other accountable. So I think that will be definitely continue to get better and become consistent down the line.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned about your teammates growing up, evolving. Madison Booker grew up and evolved last season. I remember I was there for the UConn game, and I was like, that was my first time seeing Madison in person. And I'm like, oh, she's cold. Like she's tough, And then obviously you go down and she gets thrusted into so much responsibility and just a position she's not a point guard, she certainly did well, but that's not naturally where she plays. I'm just interested for you, like, did you kind of take a responsibility and as she was thrusted into that point guard like role to kind of help coach her up, and how did you see her evolve over the course of the season?
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while, but Madison, that's not her position. But like for some reason, she, in my eyes, she like completely did better than all the original point guards that were playing that year. And so that truly does say a lot to how well she did. And I think I did take a little bit of that responsibility of like I've been in that spot before. Like I have literally been in that spot as a freshman, like starting to play 40 minutes. And so I was like, I'm not gonna let Madison or my teammate like go through that alone. And so Coach Schaefer expected that out of me. Of course, like you need to help her and guide her through such a season that we had. And I gave her as much advice as I could. You can't do anything for anyone, but she was so like coachable and she listened so well. And I think that also like people don't understand or see that side a lot is that, yeah, she's an amazing basketball player, but like she is willing to learn. That's why she was able to do so well and thrive in that position that she was thrown in.
Yeah, I'm interested because my first time seeing you play live was your freshman year at the Big 12 tournament. And I remember thinking, I was like, she has so much responsibility within this, like just like off the jump. Like it was the entire offense was started with you, and a lot of times going to the wing and setting it all up and everything. And I'm interested, I was going to ask about that regardless, but now that you mentioned, like the similarities there, what did you take from those early days of high levels of responsibility to then tell Madison in that way, in specific from your own freshman experience?
Right. One of the things is Coach, he calls things for a reason. There are plays that he calls for a reason. So that was one thing, and that just comes with experience and just doing and having reps of that. Another thing is like putting the ball in people's hands where they need the ball at a specific time, in a specific spot on the floor. Right. And so I think those two. Oh, and also being accountable for not only yourself but your teammates. Yeah, all great can happen, and it's coming to the point guard. He's like, "Yep, that's because of you, Rori. That's because of you, Madison." But when everything goes down the drain and we look bad, that's also us too. So I think it's just telling her like, yeah, maybe your teammate did do something wrong, but he's coming to you about it. And I think it's kind of hard to like grasp sometimes at a young age, but I could tell as we went on, like it was getting easier and easier to just focus on what was happening on the court and understanding this is the role that you have now. And she did very well in that role.
Yeah, no, I thought it was super interesting seeing her play. I'll tell you, the thing that stuck out to me was the mid-range jumper that she has is ridiculous. It's insanely automatic. Like it's like for you, like I think it's interesting because I've seen you on the offensive end really work to get to your spots in a way, and especially in the mid-range. And that was something that it's different, but similar in some ways in the way that you guys kind of maneuver around and everything. What do you see like as for you on your personal level of play, like when you are trying to decide, like, yes, you have the responsibility of running the offense and it's calling for a reason and balancing, okay, this is my time to kind of go and get a bucket versus, okay, we're playing through the system, the team aspect, and you are facilitating for everyone in that. How did you, like, over the years, how have you kind of tried to find the balance of that as the point guard under Vic?
I think obviously it took a minute to understand that. But he did recruit me knowing that I was a scoring point guard. So, yes, I do facilitate, but also I have the ability to go get a bucket when I can. And I think sometimes I miss that piece, especially early on in my years in college. And I remember my dad, he was always reminding me, like, you still have to be present in the game as far as, like, getting buckets sometimes and having that killer instinct. And I think it's good for me to be a threat offensively as well, because now we have so many other people who can't be guarded. Now we have so many other options, and now we spread the floor and whatnot. So now it's like, okay, now when teams play us, it's like, okay, we got to worry about her, and there's it just brings it opens the floor up a lot more, and brings a lot of options to everyone. But anyone can get anything at any time. That's the great thing about our team, and I just have to make sure that happens, right?
Yeah,
it all starts with me, like you were saying.
Right.
Like Tyler, I was at that game last year in Moody Center as you guys took on UConn, and I think like we're talking about the offense, but what stood out to me was that you guys were playing UConn, who's an offensively very talented team, and you guys just absolutely strangled them on defense.
The defense is crazy.
Yeah, we were very. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I watched you guys both like very, very closely, and I just thought like the defense was just like head and shoulders, like that's just what took you guys over the top last year. And if you don't know anything about Nick Schaefer, like
he gonna play some defense.
Come on now. That is like the thing, right?
Yeah.
How are you guys shaping up right now as a defensive unit? And like you guys have more size now too, right? Like you guys already were like massive team.
Yeah, big team.
Added players that are even bigger. So like, how's it coming along on defense? And you guys are again going to a conference where defense is super, super, super important. Almost all of the teams defend well. So how's it coming along? And what kind of new wrinkles are you guys maybe looking to add on defense this year?
Yeah, that defense as much as offense, just it really relies on chemistry. You got to know who is really good at something and who is not really good at something, and you just got to accept it. And you got to know who to help more, who doesn't need that much help. It truly, like us guarding 94 feet and us scrambling a lot of the time, like we have to know our teammates well. And I think, like I said, we're only 16 practices in, but like honestly, our defense can look pretty good sometimes. But that's just like effort. Obviously the people he recruited are ready to play defense like that. That also helps, and they're willing to learn as well. And so, honestly, it's never going to change. Him. We are going to continue to play defense the way we do, and that's something that we take pride in here.
Yeah,
we can work on our offensive game as much as we want, and that just comes easy for us. But like for him, if you're not on those fundamentals about defense, you better get on it, because you'll find it on the bench.
I'm interested because, like I said, my first time watching was at the Big 12 tournament your freshman year, and I think the biggest thing that like stood out to me, like seeing you in person for the first time, was the two-way play and the responsibility you take on both sides of the ball. I'm just interested, just for you on an individual level, when did the pride kick in on the defensive end? Is that just something that's always been around? Is that something that was like Texas? Like take me to like, is there like, what is the defensive mentality? Because like I've never seen you back down once from picking up full court, anything. I've never. There's so much pride in that for you. I'm just interested. Where do you feel like that originates from?
Oh, that's definitely a Harmon thing. I mean, I have so many cousins and uncles and my dad, of course, that have played sports, played football, track, basketball, and they love competition. And I think one of the sayings that always sticks to me, that my dad and his brother, my uncle, says, is like, he thinks he always, growing up, when he trained me, my dad trained me my whole life. Growing up, he was always saying, like, he said for him, if I'm gonna let somebody dribble in front of my face, he said he sees that as disrespect. He's like, you think you can just sit here and dribble in my face and not think I'm going to come and get you or whatnot and try to take the ball? So that saying has stuck with me to this day. And then, honestly, like, defense makes offense.
Yeah, sure does.
As cliche, and it makes sense though. I mean, and it's just like the spark of the game. Like, it just makes it so fun where you're playing defense 94 feet, taking charges and stuff like that. And so I've been like that for a while. I mean, way before coming to Texas, and I think obviously that's one of the reasons why I came here to play for Kim. And one of his main things is defense, so it just works out perfectly. Like you've been saying, like I take a lot of pride I have a lot of heart when it comes to defense, truly. So
yeah. 100%.
I think another thing that you take a lot of pride in is your conditioning. I remember last year, like the social for Texas, like I remember they showed you like in the weight room and how you get after it and stuff like that. How are you balancing like getting back into like tip top shape and like working back from injury? Because I would imagine that that's super important to you too, just personally.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, I knew it wasn't gonna go away like crazy, my stamina and whatnot, but it definitely went. And we we spent 5 weeks. We do track for 3 days a week for 5 weeks, and I just remember like the harder I push myself, like I'm going to get there. It's not going to not come. So if I continue to push past like challenging and hard, I'm going to get there. So I could tell throughout those weeks that I was getting faster, I was getting stronger, like continue to keep pushing myself when I thought I was tired. Like I'm not tired. I'm just like in my head right now. It's just mental. I always think about being tired is mental because like I've done this before. Like I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's all just mental. And so I actually shocked myself. We did a mile when I was just being like 6 months or 7 months, something around that time. We just did our mile for conditioning and I had like 6:20, which is like maybe the worst I've done since I've been here at Texas. And then we do it again for the second time, which is at the end of the 5 weeks. And I got what's the number? I got 6:05, and that was my best mile time like ever. And I it was almost emotional because it's like, how am I getting that now coming off, not even cleared to play basketball, but how am I getting that after going through all of what I went through with my ACL and like recovering? And I think it's just the will to just come back. Like you can get in shape for basketball, but playing for Big Shaper is a different type of shape.
Yeah.
I got to run the point guard, possibly break a press myself, but then I also have to pick up 94 feet, face guard somebody, deny someone all over the court. And so for 2 hours, 40 minutes. And so it's like, that's also just super like mental toughness. And I think Coach Schaefer does a great job, like putting us through those instances during practice.
Yeah. I love that. I do want to talk about some off the court stuff, Rory, because like we gotta find a balance here. Like, and we right before we clicked record, we got to see some of your merch, and this is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, like some of these are pretty cool. Can you just like take us through the creative process? If you have a favorite on here, like just generally take us through what we're seeing with the merch here.
I mean, honestly, Athletes Threads have been doing great. I'm glad they reached out to me. I think this was like a year ago or a little bit less than a year, but I remember saying like, I really want a logo. Like I really want a logo that bad. Like I want people to be able to, have some pride, and I want to, grab some support from our fans. And so I created that logo from a picture of me sitting on the bench. And I think I was staring right at the camera, and I was looking, I was like, this is a perfect silhouette. Because I'm pretty well known for my hair and the way it's shaped. So I just thought, let me just slap a 3 in the middle and call it a logo. So as far as everything else, that's all Athletics Threads. They did all of that. But I'm trying to create some more personalized logos. So hopefully we can get that out there. And I don't really have a favorite. Obviously, the ones that I created are my favorite, but I think some people's favorites are obviously like the hoodies, and I like the She's Back one. Those were pretty.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, I think those just came out saying that I'm coming back and I'm returning to the court again. So they do really good. We do a lot of communicating to like push some things out. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's fire.
Yeah, no, I think you might have some of the best merch.
That's like, no BS. That's good stuff.
You brought up the hair. Obviously, it's like your signature. Can we talk about the routine for the Rori Harmon too? Because the curls are popping, and I think the curls.
So it's crazy because so lately I've had a good routine, but like throughout like college, like I was mixing it up. Like I didn't really know what I was doing, but whatever I was doing was working. And right now I got like, I do like a pre-shampoo, and then I do like, a 2-time shampoo in the shower. But people are like, but how do you get your curls like that? That's just how my curls are, like, actually. Like, I just comb it out, after putting the leave-in and some of the curl stuff, and I just let it air dry, and I just put it up.
No diffusing, no coiling, no nothing. You're one of God's favorites. That's what that means.
That's crazy.
Look, I see the cross on the hand. So again, one of God's favorites. I do want to ask.
Got the quote.
You also got like some of the most fire tats in the game. Have you gotten any new ink lately?
I have not, actually. I was going to take a break until like maybe I get out of college. But if you have tattoos, you say you take a break and you probably won't. But I actually haven't. They're kind of expensive. I've been trying to save money, so. But I'm pretty sure I will get some more. But I love what I came up with. I like my honeycomb, and but yeah, I truly do like my tattoos. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? Like, is there one that like means the most to you, or you have?
There are a lot of good sayings on my arm and a lot of good designs, but there is one that says, probably can't see it, I don't know how to show it, but it's like right there, like in the middle. It says, "Don't lose yourself." So I think that's only seen by me.
Right.
I can't walk around with my arm like this. So I put it in a place that I can see it myself, and then I also have one that says "breathe." Right there.
Yep, there we go.
I got that one actually right after I tore my ACL. So
there you go. It's part of the journey.
It's just makes me who I am today. So.
Yeah, I love that. We just a couple more minutes with you. I am interested. We mentioned the NIL. We mentioned saving some money. How about making a little money, Rori? I'm interested. If you had a dream NIL deal, like we ask this to most of our guests because we like to manifest here in the No Cap space. We like to see what we can do. So I'm just interested. You could have any deal in the world. Who would it be with, and what type of marketing we're talking about here? What is the vision for the deal if whatever company it is?
It's crazy because there's so many things you want to do. Oh my goodness! I think one of the, growing up, you wear all your favorite basketball players' shoes and stuff, and I think that's like something I would love to do. Is like, as I created my own logo, like to create my own like stylish shoe.
What are we thinking? What if you were to create a stylish shoe? Like I know it's on the spot, but like
that is on the spot. I couldn't even tell you exactly, but that's something I need to really start thinking about now that you've asked me.
I got a person that you could tap in with. He went to Texas. He has his own shoe.
Yeah, I know him too.
Yeah, I bet you do. You Hello, KD. What's good?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so dope. Obviously, we're seeing the signature shoe market just continue to get bigger and bigger in women's basketball, and I have no doubt that you're going to be one of the top players that is going to be capable of getting one of those shoes. So we got to get in the works. We got to get in the lab, start stitching up, whatever, get the mocks going. Rori, I just have to wrap up here. Just one more for you. Just very generally speaking, we also like to ask this one. For Texas fans who I know are going to be packing out Moody Center, which is like probably my favorite arena I've ever been to. Me and Greer went for the UConn game, like we mentioned, and that place is incredible, first off. But I'm interested, just for you, obviously, as you mentioned, a little bit still kind of early on in some type of ways, but what should Texas fans be expecting from this team? Whether it be something different from last season, more of the same from last season. If you were to kind of give some bullet points, some key terms to expect from this roster, what should fans be expecting?
You're always going to get our 110% effort. That is non-negotiable here, for sure. Me and all my teammates, coaches, coaching staff, like we're always going to be well prepared. But I think another thing down the line when we start playing, I think we'll start to see some consistency. That's what I really want people to like know Texas as. Like, are we beating who we're supposed to beat? Are we consistent? Like, are we going to go from 10 in the rankings to 1 or to 15 to 2, like all the time? Like, I want people to know us for being consistent.
Yeah.
Obviously that's something that we want to be known for ourselves. Like, just how consistent can we be? How, when people hear Texas, like how are they gonna be like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna win this game, or they're definitely gonna look this way? So I think that's what I hope to see this season, and I think that will happen.
Rori, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I'm excited to see. I waited till the end to mention this, but I'm here in Norman, so I'll see you when you're playing. So I'll be here in person for that. Wait till the end to mention that connection. But I know I'm going to be making my way down to Austin for several of these big SEC matchups as well. So I can't wait to come cover you and see you guys play in person. We can't wait to see you just back on the court in general. We're so happy for you, and we're so grateful for your time today. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, make sure you guys stay tapped in for the No Cap Space. This is our preview is continuing for the college basketball season, and then we're straight into it. So make sure you're tapping into all the links down below in the description. We're going to put Rori's merch in the description as well. Nice. We're going to make sure you know where to go get it, and we'll see you next time.